Boom, boom. How's it going? How's it going? It is I again, your boy TJ. And today I'm going to speak to you around a basic step by step in terms of how do you actually purchase your first rental property. This is important. A lot of us, we go out there and we want to purchase that first rental property, but we don't know what we don't know. And we just go and buy. And I'm going to cover around about 10 steps. And then in these 10 steps, it is the easiest step. If you have to follow these steps, 10 step-by-step guide, it's so easy in terms of you purchasing your first rental property. Obviously, the reason why you're purchasing your first rental property is you have seen the need that somewhere along the line, you want to make this as an investment. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are doing an investment, right, it basically means that you are looking to put money in your pocket, right? So an investment gives you money in your pocket so that you're creating assets, right? So assets gives you money in your pocket, and liabilities take away money out of your pocket. And the reason why I'm starting to talk about this is because I don't want you to think of buying an investment or to do an investment and that investment is not giving you any money. So let's look at this step by step. The first reason is that you need to be buying an investment, and investments needs to give you money. When does it gives you money? Well, I'm good to get money today, and I'm also good to get money in the future. What I wouldn't like you to do when you're buying your first property for the rental purposes, it's an investment. I wouldn't like you to think of this to say you're going to do this and it's an investment where you're going to get money in 10, 20 years' time. The idea is, why don't you do it now? Why don't you get money today and why don't you get money in the future? For me, that's a great investment. Right. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to jump onto my step-by-step guide. And my step-by-step guide now is to guide you in terms of how you can actually get your first rental property and get money from the first rental property, and you get money today. Well, when you buy the first property, that is, right? The first thing is that whenever you are going to jump into anything, and this principle here is not about investing in property or purchasing your rental property. It's a universal thing. Whatever you are going to be doing, whether you're going to invest in anything other than property, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. So in other words, it is very important that you get yourself acquainted to understand the game and the rules that you're jumping into. So it is extremely important that if it is a rental property, there's a guide for the rental properties. You understand and you get educated specifically for rental properties. Are there courses out there that offer you this? Plenty of them. We offer one. I'm not here to advocate that you come and learn from us, but you need to learn how to do it. So the first step is, before you even go and buy a property, I know a lot of people are going to say, go and buy a property. You figure it out. No, don't. You're going to lose money. The first thing is that you are the best investment ever to be. So educate yourself first before you actually go and buy anything. The more you're going to get educated, the more you're going to be aware of the things that you can do. And the more you're going to get educated, the more you're going to see how easy it is to manage. The more you're going to get educated, the simpler it is for you to be able to identify these investments and also to identify the scams. Step number 2. Because you're buying your first rental properties, it is important that you explore different areas. Not all areas are the same. Now, for you to be able to make money, you need to understand your area. This is an investment. This is a property that you're purchasing for the purposes of renting out. So it means that it is a goose that needs to give you money today and will give you money into the future. So exploring many areas will give you the ability to identify the best area that speaks to you. Where are you going to plant your goose? Step number 3. Explore different strategies. There are so many strategies out there in terms of investing. Some of them are Airbnb, short-term rentals. Some of them are long-term rentals. Some of them are student accommodation. There's so many of them. So which one really speaks to you? Well, if you don't know any of these, then how do you just go and buy your first rental property without knowing? It is important that at least you get to have an understanding of how each of these strategies work and see and have a look at yourself and say, can I do this? Is this something that I want to do? Do I fit in within this strategy? And if the answer is no, don't do it. If the answer is yes, then you go and implement on that one. Well, step number 4. Right, so remember we are on the step-by-step. I'm giving you 10 steps here. Step number 4 is that all you now need to do is to pick an area. What do I mean by pick an area? Well, remember on step number 2, we said you need to explore multiple areas. So right now, you're on step number 4. Now you need to pick an area. When you pick an area, it's no longer just about picking an area. It's about picking an area together with a strategy, because not all areas work with your strategy. And not all strategies will work with your area. Does that make sense? So if you've got a combination of the two, then you can go to step number 5. And step number 5 is now view as many properties that you can in that area within that strategy. Or should I say, when I'm talking about strategy, I don't mean to say that if you have to choose Airbnb, then you now need to go and look for properties that are Airbnb. No, that's not it. What I'm saying here is that when you have identified a strategy, then you want to already see which properties can you turn into Airbnb. Because if you're already buying an Airbnb, it means someone else has done the work for you. It might be working. Why are they selling if it is working? My idea is that create something rather than buy something that's functional. But if it's functional and it's making money, why not? Step number 5, the more you're going to view, the more you're going to see something that works for you, and which will bring me to step number 6, where you then need to make an offer. Once you make an offer, you make as many offers that you can to the right properties that you want. And when you make an offer at this junction, you can then be able to expect that someone else is going to accept your offer. When they accept your offer, what you have probably learned in school on step number 1 is that obviously you need to have all of your paperwork ready. What do I mean by paperwork? In what kind of a structure you're going to be buying in? In what kind of, how are you going to buy this? Are you going to buy cash? Does it benefit you or not? Are you going to use other people's money? Are you going to use the bank's money? All of those things you will learn at step number 1. Now that you are at step number 7, where you have made an offer, step number 7 is that obviously now you need to go to the, if you're buying through the bank or if you're buying cash, irrespective of how you're going to buy, there's an attorney that's going to get involved. Within this attorney, basically the attorney is going to give you direction in terms of the property now belongs to you. Does it belong to your structure or does it belong to you as a person? We do this in businesses and we never advocate for anyone to buy their real estate or property, even if it is their first rental property in their name. We are always advocating to buy in the right structures that will allow you to grow, that will allow you to do it as a business, that will allow you to run it on a tax efficient. These are the things that you will learn in step number 1 whilst you're being educated. The attorney will do all the paperwork for you, and all you need to do is to carry a pen and sign. Sometimes not. They will give you a pen there. Step number 8, the property is now registered within your structure. All right? See, I'm talking about structures. I'm not saying the property will register to you. Now in your structures, you have the ability to control this. You can now go on to step number 9, which is explore or follow what you learned in step number 1 in terms of renting it out. If you are making this an Airbnb, what did you do to it? Did you create the je ne sais quoi? Right? If you're making a student accommodation, do you already have a market for it? Or do you have the right property manager for it? If you're making it a normal tenant, right, which is long-term rental that we all know, what are you going to do with it to be different from anyone else? So all of these things, you need to prepare ahead before you even get the actual property itself. And now, step number 10, very important. By you going to learn at school, be it is my school or any other school that you're going to learn there, the biggest challenge that we always have is that people, when they go to learn, they want to do a copy and paste. It is good, but it is bad. It means that if you're doing a copy and paste, you're not applying your mind. Your medulla oblongata is not working. I always say that when you have gone to learn something and now you have absorbed it and you have tried it out and it's working, you need to now create or add in a little bit of spice. Yes, spice, right? To make it your own signature. This is why we do have the McDonald's, KFC. KFC, they fry, they grill on the other side, right? Is it all chicken? Oh, yes, it is, right? But it is different. Now, they are catering those that go to Nando's for a different customer. And those that are at KFC, it's a different customer. This is a business. It's a rental property. You need to make money. It's an investment. So how do you differentiate yourself from what I am teaching you? I've got over 200 tenants. I've got over 500 tenants in student accommodation. So how are you going to differentiate from me who's taught you? It is that signature of yours that will make the difference when you're running this thing. I'm hoping that these 10 steps here will be able to give you a little bit more than the information that I've just given you. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope to see you on the next video. We'll be talking again about many other strategies and real estate. It is I, your boy, on the next video.